In this screencast, we're going to build on what we've done up until now, and we're actually going to use the anonymous user option to allow us to create a complete user management experience under our own control. What we'd like is when we view the app, instead of just automatically being taken in and being able to do anything we want to actually, as a anonymous user, we want to only be confronted with a login option. We come in, the app doesn't know who we are. We should have an option to log in, or if we want, to create a new account. And we want to make sure that new account is automatically set to be user. So let's see how we set all that up. In order to do this, there are a bunch of complicated things, and what I've done is I've actually created a module that you're going to be able to use to set this up. So we're going to actually import a bunch of stuff, a new module that will have the features we need. So to do this, we want to go to inside of Workspaces. You will want to go and open a browser in Chrome or Firefox, and you want to go to Canvas. The way I get there quickly is bc.edu/lms, but however you get there, you want to log in, you want to get to the home page of the course, and then if you go to Files, you should see Mendix Files, and in Mendix Files you should see this user management 258.mpk. This is a module that we can import. Theoretically, I could put it in the App Store on Mendix, but I thought I would just leave it for us. So you can go ahead, you can download this. You want to save it. You don't want to open it yet. So save it somewhere. And now what I want to do is I want to go back to Mendix. I want to right-click or control-click on a Mac on Project Brewery, and I want to do Import Module Package. Okay? So now what I need to do is I need to find this thing. Here's where I downloaded it, User Management 258.mpk. Double-click. It pops up and says, what are you doing here? Let's use this name. Let's add it as a new module. We click Import. Okay? And what we got here is a whole new module. It's got a bunch of stuff I've added for you to use. So for example, if you double click, you'll see there's a domain module with some stuff. There's security setup and so forth. So this is similar to adding things from the App Store. There's some stuff we're going to need to do to make this work. So let's walk through that. The first thing I need to do is go back up to my security for my overall app, and I'm going to add a new user role. And the user role I want to add is guest, right? Because right now we're having anonymous users have all the powers of a user in the app. We want them to have very limited access, just enough to sign in. So I'm going to add a new role. I'm going to call it guest. Guest should have we actually do not need to create a guest role anywhere. And the reason, so uncheck all of these, is that our new module already has a guest user role. And guest should only be interacting with that, only needs to be a role there. So we'll click OK. And now we want to add the access that a guest would have. So I will edit the guest role and click Edit here. We're going to allow guests to have some basic user rights. We need to allow the guests to be able to create new pages and so forth. They have no access to our module, and they are a guest inside of this user management module. So I am honestly not sure if we even need the user here. We can test that, but we do need to have some basic interaction here, and the main thing is they be guest here and they not have any access here. The other thing is our administrator needs access to some special features in our new modules. So I want to edit administrator, edit their roles, and I want to give the administrator, I want to connect our administrator role to the administrator access in the user management module. Okay, we've got that all set up. The next thing is we want to go to anonymous users, and if you're an anonymous user, you should be a guest. Okay, good. So so we've got all that set up. There are a couple of other changes we need to make. One is in our navigation, there's some settings that need to be done for how new users are handled. And those settings require data to be added. And that data is not automatically in the app. So I'm going to need a new menu item. I'm going to call it New User Settings. Okay. It is going to, for icon, you could leave it blank, or you could do the cog or the wrench. And when we click that, what we want to do is show a page. In fact, not a page. We need to update new user defaults. So we're going to call a microflow. How did I know that? Because I built this thing, and if I were posting this in the App Store, or later on I'll need some documentation, but right now I'm doing it here. Update new user defaults is a special microflow that is going to allow the administrator, right, to update some user settings. Okay, the other thing we need to do is we need to go to our home page, and we need to add some login buttons. And actually, I realized I had said that we're not going to give our guest any access to our module, but they need to get to the home page, right? We need to go back to security. We need to go to our user roles. We need to go to guest. We need to edit guest. And we need to, we actually do need to allow, we need to add guest as a role here. I was wrong about that. I'm just going to fix that now. And so, okay, this is a little rough and ready, but I'm keeping it. I'm going with it. I go back here. I go to my first module. I know this is a little confusing, but we're going to keep going. I go to security. I add a new role. I call it guest. Okay. For page access, the only page guest gets access to is home. Okay. For microflows, we're not going to let them play the game. Okay. So my bad on that. We've added guest. And now that we've done that, we can go back to security. We can go to user roles. We can go to guest. We can edit. We can edit. And now guest should also be a guest in my first module. So the issue there is we need to let them actually see our home page. And that's what I forgot to do. We've got that all set up. Okay. So now if we go to this home page, we need to add a couple of buttons to allow the user to log in. And so the way we're going to do this is we're going to go to Toolbox, and these there are several buttons that we're going to add. The first button is a open page button. You'll see here we have a login page, so we want to offer the user an option to log in. So we're going to put that right here. And the page that's going to open up is under user management. It's the login page. We select, and if I double click on this, I can set the caption to login. Okay. The next option we want to offer them is the ability to sign out. So if you scroll down here, authentication widgets, you see the sign out button. Now let me just point something out. You see a sign in button there, but that is, we want custom sign in, so that's why we're not using that button. But here we'll drag sign out. Okay, and then the third option we need is we actually need an option for them to sign up. Okay, so login, sign out, sign up. So that would be, we go up here, a button. It's another microflow. It's the new account microflow. So I'm going to drag that in. I'm going to say the microflow is new account. Okay, and again, I'll change that to sign up. Okay, so we got those three things. Now, all good, but a couple of other things. We need the, we might want to allow someone to sign out from any page. All right, so let's go to our navigation, and let's go down here, and let's add a new item. And that new item will be sign out. Could be log out, I guess. There's actually a log out icon. On click, there's actually a sign out option. So sign out is a built-in feature that knows, so Mendix knows about users. It knows to like sign someone in and out. And that is taken care of. All right, so we've got sign out added. If we go back here to the home page, we don't want to show this login button for a user who is already signed in, right? So we only want to show it for a guest. And we want to show the sign out button only for users who are logged in. And we want to show the sign up button only for users who are not logged in. Okay, so if we double click on login and we go to visible, we go to edit, we want to say that the login button is only visible if you're a guest. All right, which will be when you first hit the site. Okay, the sign out button, if we go to visible, we want to say the sign out button is only visible if you are a brewer or a user. That is, if you're logged in. Okay, and the sign up button is only visible if you are a guest. Okay, all right, so what's going to happen here is when you log in, you're an anonymous user, you're automatically given the role of guest, you get to the home page. That's the only page you see, and you should see login and sign up. Login will take you to this login page. If you look at login page, this uses a special widget that I pre-installed for you from the App Store that automatically handles the login. That is, you saw in a previous screencast, there's a part of this app that has a list of users. You can type in a username and a password. It will check it. If it matches, you get logged in, and you get assigned whatever role your account has. Okay. If we go back to home here, sign out will automatically sign you out. And sign up, what that does is it runs the new account ScreenFlow. I'm not going to go through all the details here, but basically this creates a new account, opens a page, prompts you to save a password, and then you can now sign in using that account. Okay, so let's try running this. So we will save all. We will run this. So now we're prompted because we've added this new domain model here. So we've got to synchronize the database. So click that. And now we're ready to view this. At this point, when we come in, notice that, and this down here definitely needs to be cleaned up. The reason this is now looking funny is because there was actually a page here that, as a guest, I have no access to. Notice, as a guest, all I have access to is the home page, and I see the login and I see the sign up. Okay, so let me try clicking login. Okay, I could try logging in. Apparently, that is not a valid account, so I want to sign up. So I click sign up, and I get this message, which I built in, that says new account option has not been set up. Please see your system administrator. So hopefully you catch this rather than your client catching this. But remember, we said that the administrator needed an option to set some defaults. Let's take a look at that. So luckily, even though I've got this set up, I do have my demo users. By the way, if you went live with the app, the demo user option would disappear, or if you were experimenting and you didn't want random people to be able to be an admin, you could always remove demo users, but right now it's handy. I'm going to do demo administrator, and you see now I have the sign out button. Notice that. If I click that, just as a quick thing, notice I'm out again, but I'm going to go back in as demo administrator, and let me just check here. I have the new user settings option. So I click that. And what this allows me to do is say, when I get a new user, what role should they have? Okay. You do not want them to be guest. You probably don't want them to be administrator. In this particular app, they would be a user. Depending on what you're doing, you might have another role for new users. And by the way, if you don't want to allow new users to sign up, you could just not include that button. But here where I'm saying people can self-sign up for accounts, they will be users. The default language, the only one in the system is English. The default time zone, you got to scroll way down here to the minuses. Yes, -5. And that gets you here to, there's no Boston in here actually. There's an Eastern US, or you could do New York or whatever. Okay, so we've got that. So this is setting some defaults. Okay, now I can sign out. Now I can try signing up. Pops up. You'll notice that I can't, as a anonymous person, change my role. It's set to user. I can put my username. Could be baldwin@bc.edu. Time zone in English. I'm not going to change that. Now I can do a password. It's picking on passwords. In the real world, you'd want a really strong password. I'm going to use capital hello 123, capital hello 123. You need numbers, you need upper and lower case. Save. Okay, so now that's been saved. It won't automatically log me in, but now if I click login and I do baldwin@bc.edu, and I can do hello 123 login. And now notice I am a user. I can look at venues, but I can't add them. I can do beers. I don't have the styles. Okay. So let's say you later on wanted to make Baldwin a brewer. What you could do is you could go here and be the demo administrator. You could go to user management. You see now Baldwin Eagle is in here. I can double click to open this up, and as a admin I can change the role to brewer. Okay, and save. And now if I sign out and I log in and I do baldwin@bc.edu. Oops, make sure I type it right. Hello 123 login. Now you see that I do have the styles option and so forth. So to sum up, we are now in a position where we have set up the option for a complete login and user management system. So I hope that's been useful. Please give me your feedback. In future screencasts, we'll take a look at some more advanced security options, and we'll also be looking at things like how to validate that the email is correct and so forth.